excited to have this conversation, though. A lot of people, if you're listening to this, you probably know Zoe in one way, shape, or another, or you know maybe some of the things that you're associated with. And so I really wanted to have this conversation because I met you now, what, 2 years ago?
I think it was going on 3 years now, for
Yeah,
sure.
something like that. Yeah, it is going on 3 years. Man.
3
Time is,
I about to say we closer to 40 too, for sure.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, so I met you, and since then, me and you have gotten to work together a little bit. Definitely with the Pro-Am, and we'll talk about that. But I always wanted to have this conversation because, like, you know, me and you were talking about, there's other parts to you, right? And you have your story. And since I've been here in Charlotte, I feel like this is a really interesting city because if you live in the city, at least uptown, not a lot of people are from Charlotte.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
It's
which
not
is
at
really
all.
interesting.
Yeah.
So when you meet someone that's born and raised here, it's like a whole different vibe. And so
Not too many Charlotte natives left, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's very few of us.
yeah, and so let's take it back to the beginning with you. You're born and raised here, right?
Yep.
And I want to say I've been to your neighborhood that you grew up in.
Yep. Hidden Valley.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Hidden Valley.
North side to be exact.
And featured on Gangland, is that right?
Ganglands and
Yeah.
First 48. So
Really, both?
Yeah,
Wow.
both of them. Yo.
And so for you growing up, how was life? How was your childhood?
Grew up in a 2-parent household,
Yeah.
middle class household. Like I said, born and raised in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Grew up in Hidden Valley. We didn't actually move out of Hidden Valley until I went to college. So
Oh, wow.
I was there, my whole life. But
Yeah.
blessed of a life. I mean, blessed childhood. Parents did everything they could to give me everything I, needed and wanted. So
Yeah.
can't complain about that. Have an older brother, 12 years older than me.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Just as big as me, so I never won a fight, man.
Yeah.
Well, I won one fight, you know what I mean?
That's all you needed.
He snatched me up going to the bathroom one time, punched him in the neck, and just took off, and he grabbed it. So I'm good for life, man.
How old were you during that?
Man, I was probably like 10 or 11.
Okay.
Or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But I got beat up every day, man. I remember coming home from middle school, just punched in the chest. Like, you know what I mean? Walking the door with a smile on my face and going like that. But, blessed childhood, man. But that made me tough, having a bigger brother like that. And, wanted to kind of follow his footsteps in a sense. My brother was way more talented than me, man. Like,
Really?
everybody that knows my brother, like, talent-wise, like, touched the top of the backboard.
Wow.
Played hard,
Yeah.
but my parents had him when they was 18. So, the different parenting and stuff like that, and he was a thug, you know what I mean? Kind of grew up with that mindset. So, and when I saw that he didn't make it, it kind of gave me that motivation. Like, I got to do everything right, you know what I mean? But, for the most part, man, childhood, man, it's just, grew up in the church, you know what I mean? My pops, definitely was the pioneer of pretty much showing me how to live by faith and out of love. So, just trying to be half the man that he was. Mom Deuce, great mother, always held me down. So, childhood for the most part was just, growing up, trying to find my purpose in life, trying to chase a dream, fell in love with basketball at a young age, man, when I was 5. So, it's just been balling life since then. So,
Okay, so it sounds like basketball was always in the mix for
yeah,
you.
most definitely. Especially because, like I said, my bigger brother, he ended up going to Louisiana Tech his freshman year.
Yeah.
He played at Garinger, which is here in Charlotte.
Yes, I've
But he
been.
ended up getting kicked out of Louisiana Tech after his freshman year.
Yeah.
So, like I said, like, learning from his mistakes, like, the ball was always in my hands, but it's just trying to make it, you know what I mean, for my brother, for my pops, you know what I mean, because, like I said, my parents had my brother at a young age, so my pops kind of had to sacrifice his dream, so, that was my motivation, but ball was always, my passion since I was a little pup, man.
Yeah, and so you said your brother was just as big as you, if not bigger. So growing up, I assume you were the taller kid, like.
Yeah, most definitely.
So you knew from pretty young age you were gonna be decent, at least by watching your older brother and stuff like that.
For sure. Because my pops was 6'4",
Yeah.
Mom Dukes was 6 feet. She's around 5'11" now. How they slunched over and everything. But, so I knew I was gonna be tall for sure. Because my brother came out 6'7". I was like, bro, I'm gonna be at least 6'6". You know what I mean? So growing up, I always had hopes that I was gonna get that tall. So it was just, and I was always taller when I was younger. I think I reached 6'6" when I was a freshman in high school. So, I probably grew another inch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
During my high school years. So, but.
Take me through playing in Charlotte then growing up. Because, I mean, from what I get, North Carolina, they call it a hoop state. And I really didn't understand what it was until I came and just went to the local rec. I was like, wow, everyone's nice here. Like, everybody can put the ball in the basket. Even people who don't play basketball, they can put the ball in the basket a little bit. And so I feel like, because I grew up in Georgia, Georgia's hoop scene is pretty good too, especially around the metro Atlanta area. But everyone in the state of North Carolina can hoop. You have Duke, UNC, NC State, so many colleges that are really good that make it to the tournament yearly. And so you got to see a lot of competition growing up, I can imagine. So how was the AAU scene, hoop scene?
For all my New Yorkers, Georgias, Florida, Tech, whoever it is, man, North Carolina is the hoop state, man. Numero uno. But growing up, it was crazy, man, because, when you younger, you kind of oblivious to the outside world, you know what I mean? So, like I said, I grew up in the Hidden Valley North Side, so when I played rec ball at Sugar Creek Recreational Center, I was the best player. So, all the teams we playing, like, I'm the best one on the scene.
Yeah.
I didn't play AAU until the first time my 5th grade year. Okay. And at the time, it was called AAU organization called the Charlotte Stars. So, I'm coming in with that swag, like I'm the best player, you know what I mean? I come out of that first tryout, I remember telling my mom, like, I don't think I'm going to make the team, you know what I mean? And I'm over here telling her, like, where are these hoopers coming from? Like, they can't be from Charlotte, you know what I mean? I'm like, dang, like, what's going on?
Nice.
So, but it's always been, like, talented players, man, like in all sports, like, but definitely basketball. There's just so many good hoopers, man, that I grew up playing against. Some OGs that I used to look up to, you know what I mean, that was nice on the court, man. So no matter if it was rec ball, pickup ball, open gym, you know what I mean, just going to a school, you know what I mean, playing pickup on a Saturday morning or something, it's just always good bunk. It's crazy because even I ended up grew up playing at this spot called Two Faces. It was on North Tryon. It was just a center where it had three full courts. One was the main one, was the best competition. The second one was like the younger main one where like top middle school, high school players playing together. And there was another one, like, matter of fact, it had 3 full courts. And the third one was just like a kids one, you know what I mean? Like you kind of hoop. Then they had 2 half court ones, you know what I mean? So like everybody used to just go there during the weekend. And the goal was to get on the main courts, you know what I mean?
Get
but like if you lose, you go to the younger court. Like but if you're a young pup, you know what I mean? I'm over there looking over there like, I gotta get over there one day, you know what I mean? So I grew up like most of the Charlotte native players, like they'll know like if you say Two Faces, they know what's up when it comes to that. So I remember just walking there from the crib, you know what I mean? Just going to play ball all day long.
Oh, that's nice.
Running on snacks from Family Dollars that was right next to it, you know what I mean? So, but like the bump has always been good, man. It's been so many good hoopers that didn't make it, you know what I mean? It's just, the outside world in a sense only seeing the ones with the names and stuff like that, but like overall talent, man, like I definitely put Charlotte's up against anybody, and we definitely gonna get to that when we talk about the program. So
that's lovely, man. And so what high school you went to? Sugar Creek High School? Or
no, so high school I went to Vance. It's called Julius Chambers right now.
They changed the name.
But back when I was going, it was Vance.
And so how was the journey, I guess, getting recruited and stuff like that from there?
So recruitment,
and like, did you know, like, I'm going D1? Like,
so the crazy thing about it is much different than today's time. Social media, recruiting platforms and stuff like that. Like, it wasn't a lot of platforms like that for you to kind of get your name out there. So in high school, like it's crazy on the scouting service, like I didn't have no stars, like I didn't have a rating. I had a NA by my name, you know what I mean? So it was just like I wasn't highly recruited coming out of high school. AAU ball, you know what I mean? I ended up getting recruited going into my senior year. I remember my college coach from Presbyterian College, shout out Coach Greg Nybert. He ended up seeing me at a Myrtle Beach tournament. Came down, hit a right hand hook, left hand hook. He was like, I want him, you know what I mean? But he ended up recruiting me from there, and I ended up going on a visit. I only took one visit going to Presbyterian College. And, just kind of fell in love with the family's atmosphere. It's close to home. You know what I mean? I had a lot of family from my pop side over there. So, like, recruitment wasn't, like, crazy high. You know what I mean? And kind of, to rewind a little bit more, I ended up committing going into my senior year because my junior year we ended up losing in the Final Four. In the state championship, playoffs. So it's like going into my senior year, I just wanted to focus on trying to win a state championship and not worry about, recruitment. But it was one of those things that I never thought like I was going Division 1, but I did tell my mother, I was like, you won't have to pay for a college education. You know what I mean? Whether it was Division 1, Division 2. You know what I mean? Like I knew I was gonna get a scholarship somewhere. I just didn't know what level, and I was just, I was just cool with just trying to play ball at the next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So once you got to Presbyterian, how were those years for you?
Nah, Presbyterian was love, man. Like I said, I wasn't a big name coming out of high school. It's crazy because at the time, the conference that I played in was the what was our conference now? Mecca 8. It was Mecca 8 back in the time. But we had Jamie Skeen played at North Mech. He went to Wake Forest out of high school, so he was top wherever in the country. Ishmael Smith at Central Cabarrus, he ended up going to Wake. You know what I mean? West Charlotte at the time was a powerhouse. They were just a hard game. Hopewell. The conference at the time was very hard, man. But I was never a big name. You know what I mean? And for me, like I always I wasn't that like my boys would tell you, like I wasn't as aggressive as I needed to be in high school. You know what I mean? So, but when the game came on the line and stuff like that, I made plays. So like when I got to college, I kind of hit the scene like running in a sense because I was a freshman. I started. I had some big games. You know what I mean, against like Clemson, NC State, Ole Miss. Like I had some big games against the Power Fives at the time as a freshman. So people was just like, dang, like you know what I mean, where he kind of came from. So it was one of those things where it was a blessing, man. It was the perfect alignment. I ended up playing for a college coach that was kind of old school in the sense, like he liked playing through the post. Yeah, you know what I mean.
It's perfect.
And for me, being a skillful big and being young and talented at the time, it was perfect in a sense, you know what I mean. So like playing at PC my freshman and sophomore year, man, like I was getting NBA looks and recruitment. I can say this now, especially with the transfer portal, which is crazy. A lot of Power Fives wanted me to transfer.
Oh wow,
you know what I mean? Like they was talking, to Coach Rob saying, "Is he happy?" You know what I mean? Like we make something shake. You know what I mean? But it was just one of those things where. They wanted me out of high school. The grass ain't always greener. Yeah. And my mindset was like, it's 2008, 2009, 2010. Like the NBA gonna be able to find you wherever you are. You know what I mean? So it was love, man. Like I was happy, man. Like for me, basketball was good. So the main thing was good. Like I didn't need nothing else. You know what I mean? I was close to home. So if I had to get to Charlotte or my peoples had to get to me, it's an hour and 45-minute drive. You know what I mean? So PC was just like, as the type of person that I am, it was perfect for me because like I ain't do the party scene. You know what I mean? I'm
you're a
very
guy.
homebody. I'm chill. Long as basketball good, I was good. You know what I mean? So it just made sense, man. It was the perfect fit. So
I'm trying to piece together the pieces of the puzzle as far as my understanding of you, because I'm like, okay, you're playing there, you're coming back home, you're hooping. Is there a pro-am in existence, I guess, around at the time?
So growing up, man, it was shout out to the Charlotte Pro-Am. So growing up, it was a big thing, man. Like it was at the Grady Cole Center, which is the city's, little arena and everything. Jeff McKinnis at the time, he's from Charlotte, played at North Carolina. He was in the NBA at the time. So he was the one with his name on the Pro-Am and had it popping, bringing NBA players in, playing and stuff like that. So, I'm a small pup just observing and watching it. So, what I mean? I'm like, dang, I got to get there one time. Like, that was like our NBA in a sense, you know what I mean? Like, being able to see those athletes up close in person. Then when he kind of stepped away, Anthony Morrow, shout out to Big Bro, he kind of took over. You know what I mean? And when he was in the league, doing the same thing, he ran it for a few years. And had NBA players pulling up and stuff like that. So by the time I kind of graduated from college, my latter years and going into my professional years, like it kind of took a step back. You know what I mean? Like the Pro-Am, the Charlotte Pro-Am was still here, but it wasn't to the level that, a lot of me and my peers wanted it to be, you know what I mean, where the competition wasn't the best, you know, playing facilities wasn't the best, you know what I mean. Like I remember we was playing at a middle school, you know what I mean, with the goals was up on the side. You shoot a 3-point, like it might hit the, you know what I mean. So like hit the roof. Then when you're older, like you're bigger, more talented and skilled. smaller courts, you know, and playing on the middle school court, it ain't the same as playing on the NBA court because you got 5 grown men out there. The spacing ain't the same, you know what I mean? So it was little stuff like that where it kind of fell off, you know what I mean, in a lot of years, you know what I mean, which, you know, everything, you know, is just how it goes sometimes, you know what I mean? But in the early ages, though, like the Charlotte program was jumping, man, like at the Grady Cole Center, like that was that thing, dog. So it was just, you know, just seeing that, man, I just remember being around all the hoopers in the city and just like, dang, I gotta get there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
we had one in Atlanta. It's called AEBL. So they still have it, and they've changed sponsors a couple times. I think when I was there, I want to say it was Adidas. No, it was Nike. It was back when it was Nike. When I was in high school, that was like my first exposure to the Pro-Am scene.
Okay.
As far as, I remember Kyrie Irving actually pulled up and played.
Yeah.
And we had a dude, I think, who went to Norcross High School. He played at FGCU, Florida Gulf Coast. And I saw them two go at it, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. Because you never get to see, like you said, I think we've talked about, like, with the Pro-Am scene, for you growing up, you maybe didn't go to a lot of NBA games. So that was your way of seeing the pros that came from wherever you're from and being like, that's possible. And so I got a chance to, you know, sort of like how, you know, we did it these past couple of years with the high school game.
Exactly.
So I got a chance to play in the high school game, and that was super fun. And I loved just the atmosphere because it blends like hip hop culture with the mic and the MCing with the actual basketball. And then it's community oriented. So you know the players and stuff. So I really enjoyed that. And so, like you said, you know, you were watching that. I guess you go play in college, and so take me through, I guess, your professional career afterwards.
Yes. And before I get on that,
go ahead.
Maybe like a thought came to my mind when you brought up Kyrie. There was another pro-am in the Durham area where, you know, like the Dukes, the North Carolina, NC States, it was held at North Carolina Central when they was Division II at the time. So like all the big college players that was at the time, they was playing there. So that was during like my college years. So like it was lit, you know what I mean? That was the biggest pro-am in North Carolina.
Wow.
And that went away is when North Carolina Central transitioned to Division I.
Because they're not allowed to be in the facility.
Because NCAA regulations is you can't have the pro-am at, you know, Division I institutes. You know what I mean? So, but like at the time though, when it was Division II though, like they had a program there, and like it was jumping. You know what I mean? Like you got former NBA players that played at those big schools. They'll come back and play in the Durham pro-am. So, you know what I mean? They kind of like between seeing that and the Charlotte program growing up, it was just like summer hoops was just a thing to be around. You know what I mean? But professional career wise, man, I ended up having a blessed collegiate career. Like I said, my freshman and sophomore year, I was getting NBA looks. You know, Dallas Mavericks, Oklahoma City Thunder at the time. You know, that was calling, reaching out for me, and it was crazy because coming into my freshman year to Presbyterian College, they was making a transition to Division I. So my freshman year was their first year going Division I.
Oh, wow.
And NCAA rules is you got to wait 4 years in order to become eligible for the NCAA tournament. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah,
so it didn't matter how many games y'all won, or even if you won the conference. We
don't even get to participate in the conference tournament, where if you win the championship there, that's how you get to bid into the NCAA tournament.
Correct.
So I didn't even have a conference tournament in my career. So I came in with 5 other freshmen. So we were 6 deep my freshman class. And the plan was that each one of us was go redshirt at some point in our career throughout, you know, our collegiate career. So that, you know, our redshirt senior year, we was gonna have an older, experienced team and be able to, you know, give it a real shot to try to, you know, make it to the NCAA. So I was getting, you know, like I said, I was getting NBA scouted my freshman and sophomore year, but I ended up redshirting my junior year. Like that was always the plan, to redshirt my junior year. So once I redshirted my junior year, you know, some things kind of, you know, not fell off, but, you know, out of sight, out of mind in a sense, you know what I mean? So then my junior year, when I came back from my junior year, you know, we ended up having a really good team playing. We ended up beating Wake Forest and Auburn and back-to-back games that year. We was ESPN competing against Kansas State when they was ranked number 2. We were down 4 with like 4 minutes ago. I ended up fouling out, which was some BS, you know, but we had a good year, but then I ended up fracturing my tibia bone in my left ankle. The second game of conference. So, you know, so sitting out a whole year, getting hurt, you know what I mean? So like injuries kind of hindered my collegiate career to the point where I would say it kind of didn't give me the best chance to possibly make it to the NBA. I'm not saying I would have made it there if I was healthy, but you know what I mean? So it kind of decreased on my chances. But so coming out of college, man, played professionally, 11 years overseas, which was a huge blessing. I was able to travel the world, do what I love and, continue playing ball, man. So it was just dope, man. My rookie year, kind of chasing the bag, which I didn't have a real mentor growing up, like somebody that did it before or somebody that put me on game. Like I didn't have nobody in my community, I ain't had nobody in my family that never played professionally before. So I ain't really had nobody to tell me what steps to make and what not to make. And the point that I'm trying to make when I said it is, out of my going into my rookie year professionally overseas, I got offered the most money to play in Argentina at the time. Second division Argentina over there, which is in South America, and I had some offers to go play in Europe, but it was like twice as less. You know what I mean? So in my head, I'm like,
money.
I'm gonna go get the money. You know what I mean? Not knowing that like South American basketball is not respected in Europe. You know what I mean? So if I would have knew what I knew today, you know what I mean, I probably would have went to Europe and not chased the money right away, because it's not about the money, it's about the path. Because wherever you start, wherever leagues you at, that's where you are. Like, you got to work your way up. You know what I mean? So
it's difficult.
Yeah, so I ended up getting hurt, which is crazy. My rookie year.
Really, first year?
Yeah, first year.
What did you hurt this time?
So I had a herniated disc in my back.
Oh wow!
Which kind of happened the second game of the second half of the season. Had a herniated disc, but I thought it was my hip, because I ended up having hip surgery. So let's take it back injury wise. So I had my first hip surgery when I was 14 and when I was a freshman.
Wow. Hip surgery for a 14-year-old, man. That is insane.
Yeah, so and my right hip, like my hip slipped out of place because they say I was growing too fast. So they had to put a pin in my hip.
Jesus,
so that was the first hip surgery. So the second one I ended up having in college, my redshirt junior year, because I ended up having like a partially torn ligament in my hip, and they were just like,
how does that even feel? I've never even met many people that have hip injuries. So is it like you can't?
Yeah. So
the flexors, you can't bring the leg up.
So the first one, like the way I had like a limp, like the way I was running, the right side of my the right side of my legs was a little shorter, so I kind of run with like a wobble, like you can kind of tell. And so it was kind of like, it slipped out of place, so they kind of had to realign it so it can be back in place. But then once I had surgery, like, the range of motion, like I lose that, you know what I mean? So then when I had my left one, like I said, my junior year in college, the doctor pretty much said like I had to get it reconstructed because the way the cuff of my ball and on the hip is made, it was bumping up against the cuff of my hip, so they had to reconstruct it so it can rotate smoothly. And the doctor always said you would have to get that on the other side as well eventually down the line. Wow. You know what I mean? So my rookie year overseas, when I hurt my back, we was actually in a weight room like working out. It was like pain that shot through my leg. I'm automatically thinking it's my hip. You know what I mean? Which is like, I'm like, I know the doctor said I was gonna have to get it. He didn't say when, but I knew I was gonna have to get it eventually. So when I came back home, I went to a hip specialist, the one that did my other surgery. He was like, I don't see an issue. Like, I don't think this is what's causing the pain that you're feeling, which is because I had pain in sciatica and whatever. And but I was so adamant about it. I was like, nah, man, I gotta have surgery. Like, I'm in pain. He was like, I don't think this causing the issue, but he knew I had to have a surgery anyway, so we went ahead and got it. So I ended up having the surgery after my rookie season. Then once I got healthy, I tried to go play in Canada in October, which was kind of like right around the range where you're supposed to be coming back with hip injury. So, I was good, feeling good, but the same pain that I started experiencing my rookie season started coming back. I'm like why? You know what I mean? Like, I just thought I just had hip surgery. I thought it was gonna be taken care of, but I ended up coming back home because I just couldn't play because of the pain. So I ended up going to a back specialist. That's when I found out I had a herniated disc on my lower back. So my second year. So it was just one of those things. Like, I was going through a rough period because I remember the back specialist was like, you got to have surgery on your L5 disc because it's pinching on a nerve, but it's a strong possibility it will end your career. Wow. You know what I mean? So, just loving ball and professional career just now started. Like, I ain't want to hear that. You know what I mean? Then on top of that, I didn't want a doctor going in my back mess around and messing up, I'd be paralyzed for the rest of my life. So
Yeah.
prayed about it, man. You know, God led me to a chiropractor. And he was kind of explaining it to me, which is crazy. I don't know if I want to get into the breakdown of, because for me, like the definition of real health, I learned about that when I went to the chiropractor.
Right.
The reason why I say that is because when you go to a normal doctor, you always got to tell them the symptoms you having and what's going on.
Correct.
And they make an educated guess.
Yes.
With these symptoms, I think it's this. Prescribe you some medication.
Yeah.
You come back if it don't work. Okay, if it ain't this, it should be this. So when I went to the chiropractor, they did a scan on my back, and he pretty much was telling me what was wrong with me. He was just like, I see it's an issue right here in your spine. This is where the signals is going to your stomach. You know what I mean? And like, do you get like tired around this time every time during the day, no matter how much sleep? I was like, yeah, how do you know that? He was like, right here in your spine, like it's not getting the proper signals. He was like, are you having a struggle, like problems sleeping at night? I was like, yeah, how do you know that? I'm like, I wake up no matter what. He was like, yeah, the issue's right here. You know what I mean? Are you always feeling fatigued? He was like, yeah, this is where the signals go to your stomach, the digestive. Like, no matter. I'm like, damn, like, that's amazing. So I learned about it. He was just like, yeah, I see the issue in your back, and like he put me on a real strenuous chiropractor plan, which I was going to the chiropractor 4 days a week. Yeah. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Wow. And
are they doing the stretches, realignments?
So like they had a drop table. So you you just lay on a table and like he pretty much press on the area.
Yes, I've seen
and they
that.
Trying to I did little exercises and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, every chiropractor ain't good. You know what I mean? Just like doctors, every doctor, like every profession, you got good this, you got bad this. You know what I mean? And a lot of people associate chiropractors with the bad chiropractors because they go in there, some of them just turning and twisting. Yeah, the good chiropractor's not doing that. Like he never twisted me or nothing like that. It's a drop table. Then he'll do your neck and stuff like that. You do different exercises. Then he recommended me to get on a virgin table. And the virgin table, when you lay on it, you lean up back, so you stay there for 5 to 10 minutes.
Upside down, correct?
Upside down.
I know what you're talking about.
And it uses the gravity to naturally pull the pressure off your spine. Right. Just because, you know, we got bad posture. We always bent over looking at the phone in the chairs all day. You know what I mean? So like that helps decompress your spine. So I was going to the chiropractor 4 times a week. Virgin table twice a day, 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night, and gradually it just went away. Like 6 minutes. But when I tell you that, like,
that's amazing, man.
Like so when I tell you, like, when I had the pain when I was going back to Canada my second year, worst pain I ever felt, like when having a herniated disc. Like I don't wish that pain on my worst enemy, but like. And he told me, the chiropractor, he like, it's gonna take time. Like it's not like surgery, you gonna have it. But like we was at it. First 3 months, like the pain started subsiding. 6 months, it finally got to the point where I can go through normal living without you know, real pain. Then like for like 9 to 12 months, around that year mark, so where it completely went away without having surgery.
To this day.
I mean? To this day.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean? So I still do exercises and stuff like that to make sure I'm on top of it. I go to the chiropractor regularly and stuff like that. So it was just one of those things, man. Those first couple of years, man, I was at a low point, you know, when it came to basketball. Like, you know what I mean? So thinking the game was going to be taken away from me, but then going into my third year, I ended up going back to Ecuador because, you know, I played in South America.
So you had some ties,
Yeah, my name was kind of, but which was crazy because my rookie year, I didn't have no footage of the games that I played in until I got hurt. And it's tough when you play overseas. It's like, what have you done lately? Like, we need to see the footage. Yeah. And the fact that, you know, I didn't have the footage from my rookie year. I set out my second year. Yeah. So I had to start at the, like, low of the low in South America to kind of just make my name, or, you know what I mean? So went out there, Ecuador. It was a shorter season over there. It ended in December. We ended up winning a championship out of there. Oh, nice. So after we won a championship, I ended up going back to Argentina, second division, where I started out my rookie year from a coach that kind of was familiar with playing me my rookie year. You know what I mean? So I finished my year after that. But I was just tired of playing in South America, man. So talking to my agent, because it's a different style of play. The living is different. You know what I mean? So I felt like I wasn't able to play my game entirely. So I was just tired of it. So I wanted to go to Europe. And it was just when I ended up switching agents. Ended up signing out to Iceland, where
I've never heard of anybody from there.
And crazy thing about it is Iceland is pretty much the low of the low in Europe. Like, and when I kind of was talking to my new agent, like I knew I shouldn't have signed to Iceland. He was like, "Nah, you shouldn't sign that." Then when I sent, because I had the offer before I signed with him, and when I got him, he was like, "Just send me over the details of the Iceland. You know what I mean? I'm gonna check it out." Then I ended up sending it to him. He was like, "Nah, I think you should take it," and stuff like that. And it was red flags, and everything in my gut was telling me not to sign it. You know what I mean? But for some reason, being young and dumb, end up signing it, still going to Iceland when I shouldn't have. So went there, had an amazing year, killed it. You know what I mean? Like had fun, enjoyed the game,
so it was good.
Yeah. So it was a blessing. It was all guys. You know what I mean? Plans and stuff like that. So I needed to be there. But basketball career wise, I shouldn't have been there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that was lower than Argentina second division, you know what I mean, coming from there. But it's hard to get into Europe. Like I said, like they don't respect South American basketball, which is crazy because South American basketball is actually harder than European basketball.
Really, what would you describe the different styles?
It's more physical in South America. And the league that I played in is only 2 referees. So a lot of fouls.
You're not going to get called.
You're not getting called. Like you playing in leagues with 3 referees, it's 2 referees.
They can see it,
You know what I mean? They can see everything. It's way more physical. And at the time, I tell people all the time, like if you look at the history of the game, USA basketball in the Olympics, Argentina was the last team that won a gold medal.
Yeah.
So like Argentina, like they're very crafty, they athletic.
Is Manu Ginobili from? Is that where he's from?
He's from Argentina. So it's just like they got very good basketball, but Europe for some reason they just don't respect South American basketball, which was crazy. So like it was just the frustrating part, but end up going to Europe. You know what I mean? Kind of like I said, like having to take another step to try to get back to the beginning stages of where I should have been coming out of college. You know what I mean? But killed it, and Iceland made first team, all imports. We was a second place team over there, which was crazy. Because I was actually expecting my daughter during the season, and in the first round we ended up getting upset in the first round of the playoffs. But I ended up getting home 5 days before she was born. So it was a blessing, you know what I mean? Even though we lost when we shouldn't have, I was able to come home and make sure I saw that she was born there. After Iceland, ended up going to Finland. Finland, which is crazy, I could have started in Finland my rookie year.
But you just ended up signing Ecuador instead.
Ecuador. Then I ended up signing the Iceland when I was trying to come back to Europe. So year 4, I'm starting where I should have started coming out of college. You know what I mean? Taking that step in Europe. Went over there, went to a team, had a really good team, man. Like we wasn't expecting to win. We ended up being first in the in regular season. We ended up losing in the championship. Best of 7 games.
Bad,
it ain't bad. But so I had a good year out there. Numbers wasn't crazy, but I had a good team. Played my role at a high level. You know what I mean? Helped us win and stuff like that. So from Finland, ended up going to Israel, second division, which was crazy.
I heard Israel's tough.
Israel is tough, it's beautiful, and I'm definitely going to get into Israel as a whole basketball-wise. But when I signed to Israel, I ended up signing for the salary that I signed my rookie year.
Oh, man,
So now it took me 5 years. Like I started here at a certain salary. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, I'm cool, but if I can stay at this salary for the rest of my year, I know I'm going to do what I need to move up. But, my first couple of years went down, stayed here, went back up. Now I'm in second division Israel, making what I made my rookie year. You know what I mean? So it's just like it took me 5 years, and I'm just pretty much starting all the way over. But no, it was a blessing, man. Went over to Israel. You know what I mean? Had the mindset I'm coming over here to kill. And is Israel is a dope place, man. By far my favorite place. I played in 13 different countries.
I was going to ask you what you liked the most.
Israel by far.
What was it about Israel that you liked the most?
And most people like, if you talk to any Americans that played in Israel and played in other places in Europe or whatever, they'll tell you Israel. And the reason it is because, very Americanized. Majority of the people over there speak English. The food is fire. It's a smaller country. The size of New Jersey is bigger than the size of Israel as a country. It's beaches everywhere. So like all the small cities, like you can pretty much get to a beach within 20 minutes wherever you are located for the most part. So it's, it's close to beaches.
They love basketball too, though.
They love basketball. And the thing about Israel, with it being such a small country, a lot of the teams are close to each other. So like if you go play somewhere else in Europe, you playing on a team, the next team is probably like an hour and 45, 2 hours away. So you're not interacting with a lot of Americans. Excuse me. But in Israel, like most of the teams are surrounded by Tel Aviv, like close to Tel Aviv. So after you hoop or you practice or whatever, like you can just meet up with other Americans that's 20 minutes away, 15 minutes away. So like it feels more like home, you know what I mean? So like it's just that home feeling, man, just being there. Like I said, being able to kick it with other Americans, hip hop culture. You know what I mean? Like you go to clubs, they playing all the music, hip hop music. You know what I mean? Food is fire, and like on basketball wise, like I always tell people, other places in Europe, like they break your body down because you practice hard. You got tour days in some places. It's long seasons. You know what I mean? In Israel, like you practice hard, but you don't practice as long. You get in, you get out. You got way efficient. More off days. So like the schedule set up in second division of Israel over there. You play Tuesday, you off Wednesday, practice Thursday. Friday, the religious and the Jewish culture is Shabbat on Friday. So when the sun goes down on Friday and until Saturday when it goes down, it's Shabbat. Like you don't do anything. So most of the time you practice Friday morning and you off until Sunday again. So that's 2 days off. Like with most countries, you only get one day off. You know what I mean? So practice Sunday, practice Monday, game Tuesday, you know what I mean? So it's just, basketball wise, it's just so much better, man. And I always tell people too as well, and a lot of people that play overseas attest, a lot of countries in Europe, they need Americans, but they don't want Americans. You know what I mean?
They want to keep the hometown heroes.
You know what I mean? And it's crazy because it's like they want to build their players and they want to highlight their players. So it's like they run plays for their players, and at the end of the game, it's like, here, so go save us. You know what I mean?
We need to win the game, so this is when you come in.
Like, bro, I'm cold, bro. Y'all done iced me out the whole game. Like, what you expect? But in Israel, they need Americans and they want Americans.
That's nice.
So it's just like that feeling of being wanted. They gonna let you play. They gonna play through you. They gonna let you rock. You know what I mean? They gonna love you for who you are. So like just overall, man, like Israel is just fire, man. Like it's like you're not gonna beat your body down, and you're gonna be able to play the game and love it. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. So that's year 5, man. So
year 5 is when the poem. That's right when things.
It's a couple years later. We gonna get to that for sure. But so was having a great year, MVP type year. They're like, who is this? You know what I mean? Like by far front runner of MVP of the league. So I went to a team that wasn't supposed to. We was in first place most of the year. Ended up hurting my ankle out there halfway through. So I was playing on a hurt ankle. Didn't know at the time, but I had bone spurs in my left ankle. So we ended up losing in the semifinals. But it was so bad injury wise. I was just playing and not practicing, you know what I mean? So it's just, I had some good games, still had some bad games, but dealing with the injuries. So it was kind of one of those things where I hated it because in Europe, so this is how the structure is broken down in Europe countries. You got a first division, second division, third division, multiple divisions, but so the bottom 2 teams of first division moves down to second division.
Correct. It's like soccer. I know exactly. What you mean.
Exactly.
So you always got to be good, because if you ever have a bad year, you guys are gonna move down. Good, but good years, you guys can move up. And the goal is to eventually be able to move up year after year.
Exactly. So even even in second division, so like the top 2 teams move up, the bottom 2 teams, the second division move down to third division, top 2. So it's like you always playing for something. But I bring that up is because like. When you get to when you in second division, third division, it's hard to move up to a higher level unless you just over there killing it, averaging 30-something crazy numbers. And I was a good player, but like my numbers, like I didn't play that type of style. You know what I mean? I played team ball and stuff like that. So in order for you to move up, you either got to kill or you got to win with that club, and you go up with that club. And I was killing, you know what I mean? But I got hurt, so my numbers went down the second half of the season. And we was the best team, but when I got hurt, we wasn't the best. So I'm expecting to win, you know what I mean? Thinking about to make a jump, you know what I mean? So, year 5, whatever, came back home, had bone spurs in my ankle,
Jeez,
had
man.
surgery.
You couldn't get away from injuries,
dog. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's the story of your career.
Yeah,
at least
unfortunately, man.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful for all my injuries because it taught me how to take care of my body and trying to pay it forward to the kids today. So year 6, you know what I mean, I ended up getting an offer to go play in Pro B France, was the 2nd division over there, which is the highest I ever played, highest salary I made. Go over there to another situation, killing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they in Paris or?
So I was in Rouen, France, over there, which is like an hour and 15 from Paris. So it wasn't far at all, which I love because I definitely visited the Eiffel Tower several times.
Yeah,
but
that's so nice.
Yeah, so in a way, France is set up how they teams that elevate to the next level. If you win the regular season, you automatically move up without having to play in the playoffs.
Oh, that's nice.
So then 2 through 9 playing the playoffs, we was 1 game behind in the regular season because we started out slow, missed that. We lost in the finals.
Jeez, yeah.
So
two opportunities,
best of 5 series, best of 3 series. We lost 2-1. So that was my 2nd year in a row. I'm right there busting down the door and couldn't know what, cool, heartbreaking, you know what I mean? But in France, and we gonna get to the pro-am soon, and I'm gonna get back to that. But that's why I met my homeboy. Shout out Jamar Diggs. He was the one that gave me the blueprint about his pro-am and everything. We get
what city was he in?
He was in Minneapolis.
So Twin Cities.
Twin City Pete, Twin City Pro-Am. So shout out to Jamar Diggs and the Twin City Pro-Am. But that's why I met him out in France. But so after France, I went back to Israel. So I'm like, I'm betting on myself. I know 2nd division over there. I'm about to go kill. You know what I mean? End up coming back, killing over there. Came to a club that wanted to move up, so we had a real good team. We in first place the whole year, and hurt my ankle where injuries, man. Sprung my ankle real bad. One game, it was like a Friday or whatever. We was playing the 2nd place team that we was tied with at the time. That Monday, so I'm rehabbing like crazy all weekend just to make sure I can play. Played Monday, had a great game, killing it. You know what I mean? We ended up beating them on the road at the crib. Ankle still bothering me. You know what I mean? I'm working my way through. So like my plan is to look inconsistently for the next couple of games, but we still winning. You know what I mean? But the club came to me and was just like, we can bring in another American and have you sit out for a month, and like, you know what I mean, we'll bring you back. Hopefully you'll be healthy for getting ready for the playoffs. You know what I mean? It was crazy, like, cause I done played already for like 3 weeks at the time. I'm like, I'm good. But the club's like, nah, we want you to be 100%. Like, cool. I played one more game before they set me out. But I had 28, 13, and 6. And, they come to me in the locker room like, dang, maybe we shouldn't. I was like, I was telling you I was good. But now, I take a month off. We got a 6-game period during that month. And the team ended up going, I think, 2-4, 3-3 or something.
Man. Did they bring the American though?
They brought the American in, but
he
still struggled. You know how it is, chemistry and stuff like that. And we had a 3-game lead when they set me out.
Jeez, yes.
So, that's gone now. You know what I mean? So then when I come back, rhythm of the team, I wasn't in rhythm. We ended up losing the next 2 games. They ended up cutting me. Like, they ended up releasing me, which was crazy.
Yeah, that
like,
is insane. So
my
they
numbers
blindsided you. Yeah.
They blindsided me, of course, like the pressure. So I tell people all the time, like the clubs over there, like the pressure, like they get too high, they get too low on every win, every loss. You know what I mean? So like we getting ready for playoffs, like we got a good team to win it, but they ended up cutting me because when I came back from a little month period or whatever, I'm healthy, find a rhythm. We lost 2 close games, but now we ain't in first place no more. I think we was in 2nd place by underneath a game or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm hot, man. I'm hot. I'm telling my agent, we like 7 games away from the end of the season going into the play. I'm telling my agent, like, find me a playoff contending team here so I can, like, I'm on, like,
you're gonna
about
get it
to
back.
kill the league. Like, they want to move up. I'm about to, like, show y'all what's up. You know what I mean? So the last place team in the league wanted me to come real bad because they knew I was a good player. I was like, man, I ain't trying to sign there. I'm trying to go to a playoff contending team. But, guy ended up leading me to the last place team. I think that was like behind out of the playoffs like 3 games or something like that.
Okay.
We won We won my first 3 games there.
Yeah.
We went from last place to tied to 8th.
Okay.
COVID broke out. That was the year COVID broke
Right.
out. And which was crazy. The team I just left from, they was in second place at the time, but they ended up bringing in other Americans, and they ended up losing a couple games. They dropped from, so we dropped from first all the way to third.
Yeah.
When COVID broke out, the season ended.
Oh,
and
wow.
And
Were you trapped? Were you trapped down there for a little bit?
I wasn't trapped. Like, I was over there. Like,
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm gonna wait it out. You know what I mean? I'm chilling. So I'll leave. But then it got to the point that like, you might want to leave because I don't know, like the airports and
What's
stuff.
gonna happen?
So I ended up coming home. But I brought that up because this is crazy.
Yeah.
So the league decided whoever finished in the top 2 is gonna automatically move up without playing.
Wow.
So that's my 3rd year in a row.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Oh
I was
my
in
gosh,
first of it.
man.
Like,
Yeah.
if they didn't sit me down, or even if they would have just kept me, we would have ended in the top 2.
100%.
I would have been in first division. So
Yeah.
that's year 3. You
Jesus,
know what I
man.
mean? So it's crazy. So when COVID broke out, Israel ended up deciding in first division they was gonna finish the league out. So like, I think like a couple months after COVID in June, they end up bringing some players over there. Like, you can replace the player and don't get penalized. So
Yeah.
my agent was like, it's a first division team, want to bring you out here for the opportunity. So I go over there, try to play. We play the top team in Israel. I'm killing, bro. Sprained my ankle the first play of the game.
Jesus, man.
Playing in Kobe, so like playing in low tops.
Yeah.
That was my
No
issue.
braces?
That was my issue. Like, I got my ankles taped and stuff like that, but
Okay.
just playing in low tops, man. I couldn't
Yeah.
give up the low tops, which I should have been as stubborn.
I feel you on
and
that.
played
dog.
with some mid tops. You know what I mean? Sprung my first play.
Jeez.
And going to play first division after that summer COVID year.
Yeah.
I ended up continue playing that, but I had 12, 5, and 3 in the first half. Swole up on me in the first half.
Oh no.
Kind of couldn't play. I tried to play the first half. Tried to play the next few games. Numbers weren't great.
Yeah.
So that's year 3. That summer little stint we finished the league after that finished. Came back to second division Israel. I was like, bro, I'm betting on myself out there on like revenge tour, first place.
Yeah.
We got like a huge gap. Like, we solidified first place within like 6 games left for the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which was crazy, but we end up the war broke out in Israel.
You couldn't catch a break, man. So the war between Palestine or
just surrounding
Jesus,
country,
man.
like
Yeah.
Gaza Strip and all that, which is going
Right.
on now. But at
Yeah.
the time, like, I was there, like seeing the rockets fly up in the air. So
Yeah.
like, and this happened in the first round of the playoffs. Like, we 1-1 best of 3 series. Like, the league just stopped. You know what I mean? So a lot of Americans going home. They was like, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, it's in talks with the leagues, and now we gonna keep playing. We just gonna we gonna move y'all up north to keep y'all safe or whatever.
Okay.
A lot of people leaving. Some people in my mind are like, bro, I'm trying to get to it. Like, we this close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to win. 2 teams move up. It's my 4th year trying to
man.
bust through the door. You know what I mean? And
Uh-huh.
it overlapped with the pro-am, which was crazy because after that season was going to be the first year of us having fans and spectators. Like, we had year 1, so this would have been going into year 2.
So
at the
year
time.
1, were you just videotaping the pro-am and playing live
that was
streaming?
during the COVID year. Remember
okay.
when
Yeah.
COVID broke out? So when I went to Israel first division, and I was kind of hesitant going because I knew the pro-am was about to get started, and it was gonna kind of overlap. But I was just like, man, I got to, like, career wise, like, I got to go over there and like pushing it. You know what I mean? But it ended up working out. So that was when we was cool. And so going back to that year when the war broke out in Israel, we getting ready for the first year with fans and spectators there.
Yeah.
So now the season pushed out even further, where it was supposed to be done like a month and some change before the pro-am even started. So now I'm doing pro-am stuff while I'm
close,
overseas trying to get ready for, trying to win a playoff game.
Yeah.
Mentally, I'm not there. We end up winning the first, like, the war broke down, settled down. Like, we end up winning game 3, going to the second round.
Yes.
We up 2-0 game 5, bro. I mean, best of 5 series.
Yeah. And you guys lost 3 straight?
Oh, 2-0. Lost 3 straight.
That's devastating,
Mentally, I was so locked in on getting everything with the pro-am together. Like, I wasn't the best version of myself. Not saying I played bad.
Yeah.
It's just I wasn't as good as I was supposed to. It's crazy because game 3 we was up 17 at the crib, bro. I ended up fouling out with like a minute and a half ago. And coach, we up 3. Coach decided to foul them. with 20 seconds though. He did it way too early.
Man,
they
so
made two free throws.
And
We
they
turned
did
the
a
ball
turnover.
over.
Yep.
Then
it just happened to OKC the other day.
It's
man.
crazy.
Yeah.
We turned the ball over. They came down, drove baseline. Somebody shot it, hit the side of the backboard. My other American, he was an older fellow, an older player. He was going to get the rebound clear as they got pushed in the back. He was dealing with back issues all season.
Yeah.
So they got the rebound, laid it up. We lost game 3. That knocked him out of the series.
Wow.
So that shifted everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we lost game 4, like the momentum, like us not having him. Game 5, it's a dog. It's a battle.
Yeah.
But we ended up losing. But mentally, the pro-am took me away from it. So that's 4 years in a row, dog, like where
it's taken away.
And that was heartbreaking because that was like the last, like I'm like, bro, I've been grinding. Luckily, I had the pro-am to fall back on that summer. Mentally, it took me away from it because I was crushed, dog. You know what I mean? Trying to break down that barrier. I know we're still on my career, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, you're good. I love hearing the background, honestly, because I feel like I've only known you but so long, and so I'm even curious to hear how your 11 years went. But I want to ask you a follow-up question on that, though. During that time, is life after basketball starting to set in for you?
Yeah.
Especially with the pro-am, is it starting to kick in? Like, what am I going to do after this?
So it's not my mind shifted. I'm locked in on the pro-am. You know what I mean? And once you start talking about the pro-am, it's going to kind of overlap. But at that point, I think that was year 8-ish for me. I'm still playing on, I think I was 31 at the time that year. I'm still saying I at least want to play until I'm like 35 or play as long as I can until the wheels fall off. You know what I mean? It shifted in a sense where like trying to make it to the next level was no longer my focus. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to make it to the highest level in Europe.
Yes.
Of course, pay and stuff like that. I started shifting like my mindset going to play in the Middle East, just trying to go chase the bag. You know what I mean? So my mindset kind of came from there. So from there, Israel, I ended up going after that year. I couldn't go back to Israel, man, which they loved me. They wanted me to come back, but like I was so torn and heartbroken that we didn't win it and move up.
Yeah.
I couldn't go back there. I ended up going to Turkey the following season.
Right. Turkey has a really good club. What is it? Fenerbahce out there?
Yeah, Fenerbahce out there is top league, first division. So I ended up going to second division of Turkey to a team that was in last place that wanted to, play 5-6 games, whatever. Wanted to replace an American. Went out there with another rookie American. They didn't win a game. It was just a bad culture. We went out there trying to change that. We lost so many close that we found ways to lose games. So like Turkey is known for like clubs not paying. So like I didn't get paid my salary for 3 months when I went out there.
Right.
So it's crazy. So I end up, I'm waiting, trying to find another job. I end up finding a spot in Hungary to finish the year out. Took a pay cut there. You know what I mean? So it was crazy. So going into, finish that year, not getting paid, you know what I mean? I'm still to this day fighting to get that money back.
Really?
So
I was gonna ask you if you even able to recoup
blessing wise, lawyer wise, I'm supposed to be seeing that money towards the end of this year. You know what I mean? But it's a whole court process though. It's been years. But so went to Hungary, finished it out, which was great because I had fun, played with passion, you know what I mean? Brought the love back. After Hungary, I ended up going to Israel, which ended up being my last year playing professionally. Went back to the club my first club that I played with my first year out in Israel. You know what I mean? They like family. And it was crazy because the second year I went to Israel, I wanted to go back there. But they brought my homeboy, which was the other American, back. They didn't bring me back. And I was hot, dog. Like, y'all think he was the reason. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? They had more money that year. So it's like, dang, bro, that's supposed to be for me. Like, you're supposed to bring both of us back. You know, I ain't hating on him, you know what I mean? But, like, they end up getting a new coach. So he ain't really rock with me, I guess, or whatever. But they end up getting regulated to the third division that year, so which was crazy. But so, I'm like, that's what y'all get. Y'all should have brought me back. So then it took them 2 to 3 years to get back to second division. So they won the championship, got back. And once they got back, they wanted to bring me back. So I ended up coming back for my last year, which I didn't know it was my last year at the time. But went there, tore my Achilles. Tore my Achilles. But I'm grinding the work, to get back on the court. You know what I mean? 'Cause I'm like, I ain't going out like this. But I always wanted to be a college coach, and my assistant coach that was at Presbyterian College when I was there, he got the head coaching job at PC. He was just not finishing year 5. He had a position come up. He called me. I prayed about it. God said it was time, man. So it was just one of those ones. So I played 11 years, man. It was a blessing. A lot of ups and downs. You know what I mean? It's just one of those situations where my faith had to be as strong as it was, because if it was just about basketball, like it would have broke me. You know what I mean? But like my faith, like everything happened for a reason. I met some dope people along my career, some dope teammates, some dope foreigners. I still stay in touch with. So it's just like everything happened for a reason, man. It's like some basketball career wise, man. It was a journey, man.
Yeah,
but I was able to travel the world, man. I played in Argentina, Ecuador, DR, Iceland, Canada, Finland, Turkey, Hungary, France.
What did you learn about yourself during all that traveling? Because I there's a lot of Americans who haven't been out of the country. And I always tell people, if you go out of the country and live amongst people, like not even touristically, like actually absorb another way of life, like you learn a lot about yourself in the process. What did you sort of learn?
So it's crazy because my sophomore year at Presbyterian College, I ended up going to China for a Maymester.
Oh, nice.
And I fell in love with traveling overseas. You know what I mean? So when I was able to play overseas, it was just one of those things where I love like just traveling, like just being able to experience different cultures, and like I always been God-fearing. And for me, it was just one of those ones like getting to observe other cultures, other people that has less, that's less fortunate, in some countries and stuff like that. So learning from me, it just made my faith grow even more. You know what I mean? Just seeing how certain cultures are so happy and how they move. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, it's just like the love that I naturally already had just grew even more, just because like you see how people treat each other, how they love each other, you know what I mean? It's just, for me, it's just, I don't know, like, I would say I just grew with being more loving, and I don't know, man, I guess for me, it's just growing, becoming a man in a sense, you know what I mean? Just being more appreciative and, living on your own, you just growing, knowing how to survive, knowing how to interact with so many different people. So for me, it's just being adaptable, you know what I mean? Because I done lived in every situation, every culture, you know what I mean? So it's just definitely learning to be more adaptable, but just also like the love and human beings, man, just growing more.
And so as your career is sort of wrapping up, you're thinking about what's coming after. It sounds like, so you kind of started the program, 2-3 years before you retired?
So when I retired, we was going into year 4. So we had the program for 3 years. So now, backtracking with the program, when I was in France, when I was over there, when I met Jamar Diggs, he pretty much just gave me the blueprint. Like I was just picking his brain all season long. Like what you did, what you do this, like why you do this, and like he just give me the blueprint all year long, all season. Like I'm just every question I come up or whatever he thinking of that's important, and I was like, dang, dog, I know enough people. I got enough peers where I possibly can start it. But at the time, you know what I mean, like. I'm thinking you gotta be a big name, an NBA player or something like. I'm little old Lonzo Coleman, man. Like that went to Presbyterian College. Like I ain't nobody in a sense, you know what I mean? But just talking to my peers, like it's a small world. Like I'm bouncing out there. I'm like, man, if I start a program, like what's up? But they're like, bro, I'm rocking with it. Like, bro, I rock with you. So like, they just kind of gave me that confidence. And the one dope thing about playing overseas is you got a lot of free time on your hands.
Yes.
So like you practice 2 to 3 hours out of a day.
And then you're done.
You got the rest of the day to yourself. So like for those overseas players that's like proactive, you thinking about building a business. You thinking about, you know what I mean, doing something creative with your time. You know what I mean? So for me, like I always like I told you earlier, I always envisioned myself being a college coach.
Yes.
Whenever I retired, you know what I mean? But I knew in order for me to be the best coach possible, I had to become the best player I possibly could. So now I can relate to the kids whenever. So life after basketball, I always knew I was getting into college coaching.
Correct.
But, talking about Coach Farrell, which was the assistant coach at the time when I was at Presbyterian, my game plan was always to get him time enough to get a head coaching job somewhere, and I would just go on his staff. Didn't think it was gonna be at PC.
Right,
so
right.
my end goal was like, I'm trying to hold out as long as possible so he can get somewhere higher, so I can just go in. But you know, guy got other plans. Then I had another big bro, Coach Dixon. He's at Clemson right now, assistant coach. So my plan was always to get on one of their staffs whenever they get a head coaching job somewhere. But so, you know, going back to the pro-am, like, I never thought about doing the pro-am. When I met my boys, Jamar Diggs, it was just like,
you realized it was possible.
Damn, like, you did the pro-am? Like, damn, man, I'm intrigued. You know what I mean? Like, Charlotte ain't got a pro-am that we need. Like, it ain't a nationally known pro-am. It ain't at the level that I need to. So I'm just picking this brand. I was just curious, you know what I mean? Yeah. So going into that summer after that, I just, you know, talking to my peers, you know what I mean, in hoop sessions, and like when I'm working out, training, like I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, we need one, man. Like if you do it, you know, I'm gonna support. So I just really just started putting the pieces together for like a year. Yeah. So that's going into when I went back to Israel. I already got the plans and the steps and everything. Made it a nonprofit that summer when I came home. Got it registered. You know what I mean? Talking to people, trying to get potential sponsors on board, like people like bros that played overseas. Like, yeah, we're gonna support. So going into that year, I'm working on it while I'm in Israel, my free time. So you know, I got plenty of time on myself. I'm putting it together. I'm talking to people, calling them. You know what I mean? Putting the bricks and laying it down. And so going into that year when COVID broke out, it's just like we done spent a whole year and a half,
and now we gotta cut it.
Planning like, nah, dog, like
we gotta go through.
We gotta have something this year, like this summer. You know what I mean? This year one, like I ain't trying to wait a whole. I've been waiting a year and a half already. You know what I mean? Which was crazy because it was a blessing when COVID broke out. It shut everything down.
Right.
You know
so there was nothing to do back.
Nothing to do, like nothing to do in Charlotte. Like the Charlotte Pro-Am, they didn't have it that summer. Yeah. Other rec leagues didn't have it. Other Pro-Am, other leagues around North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, like no ball. You know what I mean? So I was blessed. Shout out to Malcolm Sanders, the OG, which I kind of, you know, retract the summer when I was playing there. Him and his son was doing an annual All-Star game at the Curry Courts, the Kerry Hoffner Center. And I just asked him, I was like, you know, this is a perfect gym. It's a location I'm thinking about. I talked to him. So we get on board. So that year, you know, him and I, we were just like, but we still gonna try to have the, you know, the pro-am through COVID, you know what I mean? Shout out to Omar Carter and his foundation. He reached out, he was like, they can do all the COVID testing for free. So we still putting the plans together to have something. And
did you have to regulate it, I guess, with the city, since it's like a gathering?
Not really, you know what I mean? Like we talked to the city and like, it wasn't no rules behind COVID because it was so new at the time. You know what I mean? So like, we talked to certain people. So, but we were just taking the necessary protocols to be as safe as possible. Getting people tested. You know what I mean? No fans. You know what I mean? Malcolm Sanders ended up talking to the coach at Northside Christian. He said, y'all can have it here, but like the school saying like, you know, no spectators. It got to be a certain amount of players. So we were just like, we just gonna stream the games. So my mindset was like, we got to get something on the court. You know what I mean? And it would end up being a blessing because it was the only thing going on at the time. So you got people trying to pull up from Virginia, you know, Raleigh, you know what I mean, just to hoop because it wasn't no hoop session. People just want to hoop. Like they've been in the house, you know what I mean, for all this time. So we didn't end up having a full duration that we normally would have for the pro-am. We kind of we had the first week of games, then somebody from the city, not even gonna get into that, but somebody called and was like, oh, this and that. So Northside Christian had to shut it down there. And so shout out to Rico Greer. He had the connection at Mount Ida Fitness with big, and shout out to Mark. They allowed us to do the pro-am there. So instead of having a full season, we ended up just doing tournament style. So we did a round robin. You know, each like teams played each other that week. And whatever the record is, we just did a playoffs. Yes. So we just had a playoff format that year with no fans. You know what I mean? It was just the players. We streamed it. You know, it had highlights. So it was a blessing because we got the foundation of the pro-am out there. Right. So everybody know what it is. You know what I mean? So coming back into year 2, which is technically like year 1, because you getting spectators coming in, like, you know, COVID's kind of easing up a little bit. People still wearing masks and stuff like that, still afraid of it and stuff. But we was able to have fans in the building. So And that year was just jumping, just took off, man.
Yeah.
Like when I tell you, like the games was just so dope, man. Like close games, highlights.
Yeah.
Shout out to Montrezl Harrell. You know what I mean? He pulled up, which was crazy because he was trying to pull up the first year, but it just didn't happen. So, but it was perfect that he showed up year 2, the first year with spectators, and it was just. Fans coming, you know what I mean? You had a lot of hoopers, games, like people just competing. So it was just growing from year to year, man. And it was just dope, man. But like that summer, like you couldn't ask for a perfect summer of games and and everything. Like to combine, like it just took off. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing but God, and it was just year 1 was so important because you get the foundation, you learn,
you get the name,
you get to build on it. You know what I mean? People know about it and stuff like that. So it was just dope, man. So year 2 was fire though, man. Like all the games was close game winners. You know what I mean? Highlights and stuff like that. So like it was just the buzz in the city was big. Yeah, baby.
And so, like for you, that's your first business that you ever started, right? It's your first business that you ever came out with.
I will say, yeah, that's my first business. Had some other things that I did wise, but like that's the first one that I really like got behind it and got it off the ground. Yeah.
And so for you, what are some of the things you like learned throughout that? Because I feel like through all the time I've spent with you, I think the coolest thing is like, yes, people know the pro and the basketball that's being played, but if you any conversation with you, you're very business centric. And so I'm even hearing your history. I'm like, has Zoe always been that way? Or is it a result of this? And I've seen you've even started other things as a result of that. And so how has that sort of changed your outlook on the game of basketball itself? What's happening in the city, all the things you know about the community? How has that changed your perception?
So the business mindset came from my mother. It's just one of those things where she always had a business mindset. Like my pops, shout out to my pops. We ain't even talk about that. Like me growing up, he ended up passing away when I was 16.
Oh wow,
yeah. But he did construction work. So you know, just seeing him working hard, construction, pulling concrete, working from sun up to sun down, like he just worked hard. Like my mother. She drove for the city bus for 30 plus years.
Oh wow.
And they just kind of worked together where, you know, whatever money he gave, he just gave my mom, you know what I mean? So when they end up buying land and, you know, coming from their background, like money and like saving it and stuff, she just always kind of had that business mindset. So she would just always put me up. Oh, you got to invest your money here. You got to take care of your money. Got to save your money. Be smart about here. So like just always constantly on my head. So I always kind of had that business mindset and organization. And it was crazy because before I even thought about doing a program, it was like event planning. I just kind of did out of love. Like I ended up planning my own. Shout out to Coach Rob, which is like a second pops for me. That was the coach at Advance at the time. He ended up retiring when I was overseas, but I ended up planning a retirement party, surprise retirement party for him. So, you know, like organizational and stuff like that has always been engraved in me through my mother. And I ended up taking Avid. I don't know, a lot of people heard about the high school course. Avid is kind of like a preparation to college. You know what I mean? It helps you get organized and stuff like that. So I always kind of been like an organizational freak in a sense, like not OD with it, but like gotta be organized, business mindset. So just my mom's, man, she kind of engraved it in me. It was another event that I planned that is I'm drawing a blank, but like just planning those type of events and stuff like that, it kind of helped me with the structure of gotta be like this, gotta be sharp, gotta, you know, every little detail matters. So like when my boy Jamar Diggs was telling me the blueprint of that's what you gotta do for the program, that's what you gotta do to be NCAA certified, that's what you gotta do, you know, NBA, this how he runs the league, that's how you do the player registration and stuff like that. Just putting it together, you know what I mean? So like naturally I've always been good with numbers. Like math was always my favorite subject. Like math come easy, like formula, you know, algebra and stuff. Like everybody be like, but I hate it. I loved it, you know what I mean? So like it's just naturally how my mind kind of works. So, you know, just taking that business mindset and, you know, with me being a player,
the leadership skills as well.
Leadership skills, but also like knowing what a basketball player wants. Knowing that you want highlights, knowing that you want a photo, knowing being out of the country not being able to play in front of your friends and family.
Right.
You know what I mean? Always playing for your job when you overseas, like just wanting to play for fun. So like having that business mindset, but also having the player perspective and kind of intertwining that, you know what I mean? That kind of gave me the blueprint, how I wanted the program to be ran in Charlotte. You know what I mean? So.
And so now what? Headed into year 6, right?
Year 6, man.
Year 6, and I know we'll get to you. You're taking a bit more of a hands-off approach to it now, but take me through the highs and lows of this thing, because I came in year 3 or 4. Yeah, I guess, year 3.
Yeah.
I came in year 3, so I've sort of been around for some of it, but I wasn't there for the early days, so I didn't even know you guys weren't at the Carol Hoffner Center. So year 2, you guys get to the Carol Hoffner Center?
Yep, year 2, yep.
Right. And so like you said, amazing year, first year in person, you guys were able to do a ton of things. And then you come off that into year 3. Now everything's sort of open in the city. But from your own mind, I'm curious to hear, what are you sort of seeing the evolution of this thing become?
Just like every other business, man. Like it's a lot of highs and lows, and like those that have started small businesses tell you, like, most businesses don't last past year 3. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So it's just the highs and lows of that, and kind of giving the background of the program. It's just, you know, with me growing up in Charlotte, I bleed purple until I grew up on Charlotte Hornets. You know what I mean? Lonzo Mourning, Muzzy Bowles, you know what I mean? Glenn Rice, Dale Curry, you know, all them guys, Larry Johnson, Grandma Mom. Like, it's a funny story, too. Like, my mom always joked with me. Yeah. She named me after Alonzo Mourning. Really? But she always used to say, like, whoever had the better game between Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson, that's what my name was going to be. Really? So Alonzo had the better game that night, whatever. But nah, so I just grew up bleeding that purple and teal, man. You know, I remember going to the games to watch Charlotte Steen, you know what I mean? So just loving my community, man. Like, always wanting to give back. So, like, as the Charlotte program kind of fizzled out a little bit, like, my competitive side was just like, Charlotte got too much talent in Charlotte, come to Charlotte and come through Charlotte for us not to have a nationally known program. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, for me, it's just like that competitive, like, drive, maybe want to be the best program in the country. So, like, through that year and a half planning, I'm studying the Drew League. Yeah. I'm studying the AEBL. You know what I mean? And all those guys. Dykeman, you know what I mean? Pro City up there in New York. Like, even all the smaller programs, like shout out to Twin Cities and Minneapolis. Like, big bro put me on studying all them, how they do this, how they do that. Yeah. Incorporating how clubs do it overseas that I play for, how they do the media, how certain players, you know, I'm looking at my bros online, what they like to repost, how the NBA do their highlights and stuff. You know, they posting highlights of the games every single day, the next day, posting pictures. You know what I mean? So I'm studying all that, and I'm just incorporating it. So business wise, it's been ups and downs, because every business financially is always going to be the key ingredient. You know what I mean? And for me, I feel like my love and passion, it kind of get the best of you in a sense, because I wanted the Queen City program to be the best program in the country. So I'm trying to do things differently in the other programs. Like, we was the only program that did full game highlights. Yep. You know what I mean? I'm a ball player. Every player wants to see their highlights. Yeah. It's the program. We were the only program that did full day recaps every single day. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, programs doing top plays, it's not coming out the next day. You know what I mean? So finding like-minded people, you know what I mean, and also creating that platform where, you know, our culture can pull up and practice their craft. You know what I mean? I was talking to other videographers and photographers. They can't get credentials to AAU tournaments and stuff like that, because they being hand selected, or they not being picked to be able to come in. So just like creating that platform, giving back to the community. And for me, like, ball saved my life. Like, I grew up in Hidden Valley, like you mentioned earlier. Like, I grew up around those people that was in that life. Like, they like, so come and do this. Like, nah, I'm about to go Sugar Creek Rec to go hoop. You know what I mean? So, like, ball steered me down that path. So just like giving back to the city that I love so much, man, it's just wanting to incorporate all that. But it's just like the struggle has been financially all years, just because, just like any other business, and it's sad to say, in our culture, people not gonna support until it's built.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just trying to find ways, because for the Pro-Am, like, we had to charge a couple years.
Of course.
I never wanted to charge for the Pro-Am.
Yeah.
But bills got to get paid. You know what I mean? Referees got to get paid.
Yeah.
Gym space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Security,
like
all that stuff.
security, police officers, because I wanted to feel safe. I wanted to be a family atmosphere. Police officers, bro, it's a lot. You know what I mean? Like, you've been behind the scenes. You know what's up.
Yeah.
But then paying the videographers.
Man.
Players want footage.
Yeah.
Bruh, it's a lot
not
of work
free.
to go into that. Like, film it. Then as soon as you go from there, bro, while everybody else going home to rest, they going home dissecting film,
That same
chopping
night,
it. Bro, like, they got to get paid. Got a massage therapist, a volunteer, trying to pay them something. You know what I mean? Got an MC, because he bring, like, so it's like, it's a lot of bills when it comes in. So, like, from the outside looking in, people don't realize how much it costs to run a program. Like, I'm very transparent. I tell everybody all the time.
Yeah.
Like, if you ask, I tell you, like, it took around 50,000, 60,000 to run the program each summer.
Yeah.
And that's on the low end.
Yeah.
That's not paying you for being there every single day helping. That's not paying my other people that's being there. That's not paying the scoreboard people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot of volunteers there, and a lot of workers taking the minimum pay. I normally get paid this, but since I rock with you, Zoe, and since I, you know what I mean, rocking with what you're trying to build, pay me this. You know what I mean? So, like, it's 50, 60,000 each summer.
Yeah.
On the low end, you know what I mean? So, and people ain't saying that. So, like, financially is always the hardest part when it comes to small business. But on the outside looking in, you know, humbly saying this, like, since the product was so great, people looking at it like, I know they ain't struggling, or I know they just make the assumption that we got it, or it shouldn't be paid this much. But nah, bro, like, for referee getting paid $30 a game, it's 3 referees, 1 game. Yeah. We got 3 games on Tuesday, 3 games on Thursday, 5 games on Saturday.
It's a lot of bread.
Y'all do the math. You know, that's just the referees. So police officer, $45 an hour. You know what I mean? Do the math. Security guard. You know what I mean? So it's just like
food, all that stuff.
So on the outside looking in, it's hard to get support, which I understand. Money. COVID shook the world up.
It did.
When COVID changed everything, everybody kind of got more stingy in a sense with their money, because it's like, when is the next world crisis? I gotta be prepared. I can't just be spending money. So I get that, you know what I mean? So it's always been financially, you know what I mean, that's been hard. And it's just because every year that you have a business, people automatically assuming that financially you just like taking another step. But every year we just been getting by, man. It's just been tough. And like, for me, like, one of the biggest things, like, that's frustrating in a sense, is because when I grew up, the Jeff McKinnons, the Anthony Morrows, the ones who was in the NBA league, they took over the Pro-Am. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at other Pro-Ams around the country,
they're all supported by the local pros.
They pull up. James Harden pulling up at the Drew League, whatever. Like, Trae Young pulling up there. You know what I mean? Like, all those NBA players pulling up, and they supporting by financially supporting the business. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just like, man, that's been the hardest part, man. Then, you know, what's also been said, like, the players, like, so how we do it is, like, each team sponsorship split up into 2 spots. I mean, 2. We split into 2. The team sponsor, which is like a small company, they get the team name, they get the marketing. If they want players, they get their players or whatever. If they don't, a lot of these small businesses don't even want nothing to do with the roster. So the other part of it is the player registration fee. Like, if you get put on the team, you got a player fee, which is $100. So it's $1,500 for the team sponsor, which you get the marketing. Then the other $1,000 comes from $100 per player. Correct. Instead of putting all that on the small business, like, I feel bad asking the small business for the money that we asking. So instead of asking them for $2,500, you do $1,500. Then the player, you do your part. But the reason why it's sad is because players don't even like paying them $100. It's just like, it's breaking our arm trying to get a player to pay, bruh.
For a summer's worth of basketball, man.
You getting free videos, you getting free photography,
like uniform, all that stuff,
uniform. You getting it washed every day. You know what I mean? So, like,
you just pull up and hoop.
That $100 covers that. Like, bro, do your part. You know what I mean? Like, and we broke it down that way is because, like, it's our city, our league is the motto. Like, everybody has to do their part for this to go like live on.
The way
I'm
it
not,
needs to, yeah.
bro, I'm not in the NBA. I'm not making bank. If I was making bank, bro,
Yeah,
the
it would just
pro-am,
all be taken
bro,
care of.
we'd be the
Yeah.
best pro-am in the country.
Right,
You know what I mean?
because
Like,
you
hands
could
down.
just afford to just do all the bells and
Yeah,
whistles.
the money part, you know what I mean? So, but it's sad because you get
Mm-hmm.
50% of the players that wants to pay it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm a hooper. I know the mindset. Like, most real hoopers never paid the hoop growing up. You know what I mean? Because if you so good, somebody gonna pay for it for you.
Yeah.
You gonna pull up or just pay. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's always been a fee. It's always been an expense. So now it's
Yeah.
like, bro, if it's one of your peers
Mm-hmm.
trying to do something good for the city, bro, do your part, help. You know what I mean? Don't make it stressful.
Yeah.
So it's just, that's been the hardest part, man. It's just the financial part of it. And it's just, and I take some blame in that because, you know, I'm learning every single year as a CEO, learning the business. I'm trying to give the best product out there, but, you know, jumping out there, having 3 referees,
Yeah.
I can cut it down to 2. But then I'm worried about safety because I was
the
a player.
quality. Yeah, the quality of it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's tough, man. Like, maybe not having videographers there where I can cut that expense, but I know the players want it. So it's just like, I'm jumping out there trying to give the best product, best everything, and it creates more expenses. You know what I mean? I can do the very minimum. You know what I mean? But it's just like, I wouldn't be true to myself and the program wouldn't be what it is today. So it's just like I've been learning that maybe not everything at once. You know what I mean? Like, maybe a little
baby
bit
steps,
here, you know what I
yeah.
mean? But I was trying to do it big, you know what I mean? Thinking that once the city see it after year 2, because I fronted the pro-am for the most part the first couple of years. So now after you see like what it's about, what we doing and stuff
The
like
city
that,
will
like
cling to it
the
and-
city
yeah.
gonna finally get behind it. Bro, I don't
Yeah.
want no money. I didn't get into this about trying to make money.
Yeah,
I
for the
got
impact.
into this building
Yeah.
the platform. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where, so like me learning through that process and stuff like that, it's been a grind.
Yeah.
But like, you know, talking to, you know, some of my loved ones and people like that, like it's going into year 6 is a fairly young business.
It
in a
is.
sense,
It
you know
is.
what I mean?
So you gotta be patient with it.
So it's frustrating at times, man. But I know God got us. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things that you just gotta keep grinding, man. It's just hopefully we'll hit a breakthrough, or you know, the right people. It come across the right people's, you know, eyes, and they support it to how the program needs to be supported to be sustainable for the years to come. You know what I mean?
I appreciate you giving that overview of it, because now I know you've been coaching, so you've sort of had to step back in that way. And so you've sort of seen basketball kind of at every perspective. I feel like you could see it at this point, because you've done the business operations. You've started a business from scratch. You've played it at a high level. You did college, and now you're coaching. What's sort of the perspective you're getting now as a coach?
It's different on this side, man. Like it's a
Different on this side of coach, because like you said, as a player, it's just you. And then when you're coaching, it's 12, 15 guys that you're sort of thinking about. And so go ahead.
It's different, man, from this perspective, because, you know, as a player, you kind of practice a couple hours, do what you're supposed to, maybe come pre-practice, post-practice.
Yeah.
And you
Play
on
the
about your
games.
day. But as a coach, like, you got 15 players to cater to, make sure all their needs and stuff catered. Like, you constantly, you know, thinking, you constantly talking to the other coaching staff.
Yeah.
You know, trying to find ways to help the individuals succeed, but also the team. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of time put into it, and that's not even talking about, you know, the recruiting aspect of it.
Yeah.
Where you recruiting, you know, kids from each class. So each kid that you're recruiting got to get to know the parents.
Yeah.
Got to get to know about the syllabus. They got to get to know about the AAU coach, the head, you know, the high school coach. So it's just like, it's a lot of time putting into trying to just win one game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I always kind of knew it, you know what I mean? Because every year that I played overseas, like, I was constantly just writing down what I would have done if a coach, what the team was going through, what I felt like it should have been, you know, we should have made the adjustments, you know what I mean? Like I always was, you know, preparing myself as a coach, you know, breaking down film, you know, looking at it for myself. Oh, I need to do this, but I should have done this, you know what I mean? So like, the aspects of what a coach did, I always did it as a player, but like now being on this side, it's just, realizing that it's a grind, man. And I tell people all the time, like, when you playing ball overseas, you practice in 2 to 3 hours, you got the rest of the day to yourself.
Yeah.
As a coach, man, you working
24/7.
24/7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's tough, man, because
Yeah.
people just think you just show up to practice and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
nah, you in the office talking about what we do the other day, what we need to do for practice today. You know what I mean? Like, what you need to do recruiting wise, what you need to do, you know what I mean? Like, building a team, like what we need to do to help build the camaraderie of the team, chemistry.
Yeah.
You know, this player's struggling, you know what I mean? Like, you constantly, like, problem solving. So, you know, just being on this side of the perspective is just, it's so much to learn, man. It just even in life, man, you constantly learning. But as a coach, man, like, it's just, bro, like, there's somebody's life, there's somebody's career. You know what I mean? I've been in them shoes before. Like it goes by fast, and you trying to help that person be the best version of themselves on and off the court. And you know, the reason why I got into coaching is deeper than the game. I'm trying to help these young boys
18,
become young men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for me, like, those 3 to 5 years are the most valuable years of a young person's life. You know what I mean? Because you're making that transition from a young kid to a young adult. You know what I mean? So it's just a lot, man. You just constantly just thinking of ways to help. You know what I mean? So it fits my MO in a sense. You know what I mean? As that I like to say, as a humble servant. But it's a grind, man. Like, it's a grind.
And so I'm curious because all the things we've sort of talked about, I think the coolest part about all of it is basketball has changed so much from when you were a kid playing to today, right? So when you were a kid playing early 2000s, basketball was one way in the league. Like, the game was still growing a ton, but social media wasn't quite a thing.
Right.
And like you said, your access, how you got recruited was affected that way. Then you play professionally, and even the notion of playing overseas, I feel like, was way different back then. Like, people would always talk about overseas as if a player maybe was a failure or something, because it was either like NBA or bust. Then now to where you're coaching, technology has absolutely changed the game. Me and you have had some really cool conversations with different people and being in different rooms where now there's NIL deals on the table for players. Players can get recruited from Wisconsin and Bumble, wherever, just because they have the film and they post on social media. And that's what all the players are looking like. And even the style of the game has changed from maybe playing through bigs. And it's kind of come back in that way. But it was playing through bigs, playing a certain way, mid-range. Now it's threes and twos. And so with all those changes, man, and the 3D perspectives that you have, I feel like you have the most full perspective on the game itself, at least up to date. And so now now that you're the older guy in it, what are you starting to see in the younger way? And what is the advice you would give maybe to younger players, younger coaches in that way, and how to have an impact? Because I think the toughest thing now is you can't just say I'm good. It's like, you're good, and let's see the tape. You're good, and what connections do you have? What ball club do you play at? What do you see there?
I think the biggest difference, man, from today's game and this generation to when I was growing up is like how these kids, like, social media has affected this generation in so many ways. It's sad in a sense. You know, technology is good in a lot of ways, but it's hindered this generation a lot. And it's just, you know, we grew up in an era where we went outside to play. You know, we out there, you know, playing any and everything, playing football, playing basketball, just out there playing. Like, and these kids today just always constantly on their phone, social media. It affects them and how they learn the game because, you know, these kids don't watch basketball no more. When we was growing up, we watching the full game. Like, we seeing the mistakes, we seeing they compete and stuff like that. And these kids today, it's like microwave. Everything has to be instantly. So they waking up trying to see highlights on social media. They see it, going to the next thing. It's not registering. You know, it's not processing like, oh, he jabbed, pump fake. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't seeing it. Or they ain't watching the game. They watching the in-depth highlights. So they just seeing buckets. They ain't seeing the cut that led to him getting open, the pump fake, you know what I mean, the mixed box out, you know what I mean? You know, so, like, it's affecting them on knowing how to play the game. Because on top of that, like, these trainers and kids, all they doing is just working out. You know what I mean? Like, you one-on-one, just working with a trainer, you not getting live reps. You know what I mean? Like, you're not understanding the concept of spacing. You're not understanding of doing the little things. Like, a highlight is cool, but that's only a small percentage of the game and what a player actually is doing on the court. So, like, these kids not learning how to play the game the proper way, or not learning how to play without the ball, because you get all that stuff by experience and practice, like going to the gym, playing open gym, and like the old heads I grew up with. You ain't out there just dribbling the ball out there, like dribble, pass, cut, set the screen, come off correctly. Like, you got old heads, like, you gonna play this right way, or you ain't be playing. You gonna go to the sideline. You ain't playing with us. And today's time, like, these kids ain't playing pickup. Then when they do play, it's just 1-on-1, dribble, jack up a shot. It ain't no pass and cut. Like, even when I mess around with my boys, sometimes play with them at Presbyterian, like, I'm telling the guard, like, nah, start on this block. I'm gonna set a floppy screen. You gonna come off of it.
And he's like, what are you talking about?
Coach always, you know what I mean? He always trying to mess up the, you know what I mean? Nah, I'm trying to teach you how to play the game. Cause that's how I grew up how to play. You know what I mean? Knowing when the back cut. You know what I mean? Spacing and stuff like that. So it's like this generation just different when it comes to that, and that's where, like, playing overseas, like. That's why a lot of foreigners and stuff, they having a lot of success in the league because they doing it the right way over there. And that's where, like, AAU is hindering the American game in today's climate, because it's just AAU games on top of games on top of games, and it's not a lot of practice. You know what I mean? So while it's overseas, they practicing 6 days a week. They might play one game. You know, one game a week. So,
and it
like,
preserves their bodies a bit more too.
Preserving the body, and it's the foundation they build. They constantly getting reps and doing the little things, the little things over again. Learn how to play without moving the ball, getting up shots and stuff like that. They ain't out there just playing 4 or 5 games in a day. You know what I mean? And on top of that, like, these coaches, they're afraid to coach these kids.
Right. I was going to ask you how it affects, like, the way you coach too.
Like, because at the high school level, AAU level, they're afraid to coach the best players, because if I do get on him too hard, he gonna end up leaving, going to another team. Or the parents, you know, and when adversity hit, I'm just leaving. You know what I mean? But like, most players are developed through adversity. You know what I mean? If you look at all the best players' stories, for the most part, they had some type of adversity that they had to overcome. You know what I mean? So it's affecting it on that level. So it's just like the game is just in a bad place, man. Like, and you mentioned it earlier, like, it's nothing but threes, all threes and dunks. Like, analytics, all like analytic coaches that never played the game, they're looking at these percentages. Oh, we just need to be jacking up threes. No, man, that's why Boston lost when New York, the first 2 games, they up 20, settling for threes. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, the best percentage over 3 is what? Low 40s, high 30s. If you mid-range layups and stuff like that, that's 60, high 70s. You know what I mean? So, like, playing the game in the wrong way because analytics that never played the game is saying the game need to be played a certain way. So it's just like, it's so many different dynamics that just ruin the game of basketball, and it's just sad, man. So as a coach, man, it's just like the fundamentals and coaching the right way. It's just like, teach these boys how to play the game from the neck up, man. It's just, that's the part that I'm into it. You know what I mean? It's just, and shout out to Coach Farrell, the head coach at Presbyterian College, and that's what he's about, and that's why a lot of the no names or under the recruited kids that come to PC, they having a lot of success. You know what I mean? And we can talk about the transfer portal. You know what I mean? But it's just, it's sad, man, because the game, the beauty of the game, why the people play the game is, it's not about the passion anymore. It's about the bottom line. You know what I mean? So now these kids, they not hungry as much. I'm gonna just get to college, get this little check, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, when we was growing up, I gotta make it to the league to get my mother out of a better situation, change my family projection. You know what I mean? So now these kids getting there, they get complacent, or they getting paid in high school, so now they ain't working as hard. So now when they get to college, they was this guy. Now they get to college, there's no name, is busting your behind, and now you got hit with that little adversity. You don't know how to face it. You know what I mean? You transfer away to another situation, then working out there. So now these kids ain't get better. So it's just like, when freshmen coming in, getting beat up by the upperclassmen because they physically more stronger than you, physically and more intelligent, knowing what to do. that's making you get better, because if you got something in you, you're going to do something
in the weight
about it. You're
room,
going to
you're gonna
work. You
on
know
the
what I mean?
game,
That's
yeah.
what's going to get you better. So it's just like that part of the game, man, it's just, it's missing in a lot of areas, and it's just sad on this side of the world, because in Europe, that's what they doing. You know what I mean? They doing it the right way. So, and they done caught up, and you know what I mean? The cream of the crop here, talent wise, is still good, but overall, American basketball is not where it used to be, man. So
yeah, it's diluting a bit.
yeah, for sure. So it's tough, man. I hate to see it, because it's just the art of the game, the love, the passion. It's what I love seeing. It just ain't there no more.
I agree with you on that 100%. But people call me crazy whenever I say something like that, because I guess, like you said, they see the threes, they see the dunks, and the players are as skilled as they've ever been.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say that out loud, because it can contrast sometimes with what you're looking at. But like you said, when you start breaking the game down from other levels, as far as players being able to take adversity, we see in the NBA guys get traded every like 2 or 3 years. Even the NBA, it's hard to even have a favorite team, because you don't even know who's going to be on the team in a few years. And I think even in college, it all trickles down. It starts up top and then it trickles down. And now you guys have been hit with an influx of money. The game period has. And it's funny, because the Pro-Am's a business. I don't even know how Pro-Am basketball is affected by the influx of money through something like NIL. I don't think it hits the same. But now with the high school players being able to get paid, college players being able to get paid, it's completely changed the dynamic on the power now. Because now I think a lot of players, they feel like they have the power to dictate the situation. And so what do you sort of see the future of that being, as we sort of wrap this up, as far as like the future of the game? Like, what are you seeing?
I think it's going to have to be a dramatic change, man. NIL is fairly new, so regulations and stuff definitely has to come into place to get it to a point where both sides in the game is not impacted, and both sides are getting what they want to get out of it. You know what I mean? And as far as the Pro-Am, like, the only thing I really see the Pro-Am getting affected by it, the NIL and players getting paid, is like these high school players or college players not playing in the Pro-Ams as much, because if they getting money or investments, and they probably like, oh yeah, you can't play because if you get hurt, you know what I mean? But other than that, like, that's the beauty about the Pro-Am, is because it's the purity of it. It's just for the love of the game. So that's going to always be there. That's like movie theaters, in a sense, like DVDs and VHSs, all that stuff came out. You can't get the same feel unless you go to the movie theater. True. You know what I mean? So like, that's where the Pro-Am is kind of, unbreakable in a sense, because if you just want to come play, you ain't got to worry about if you take this shot, you getting pulled out of the game. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? Like being able to play in front of your friends and family because you thousands of miles at a college or overseas. You know what I mean? So that's what the Pro-Am, I feel like that's gonna always be the purity of it. It's gonna be good, but it's just it has to be regulations to where how much the player get paid, because it's sad, because a lot of these players getting paid a lot of monies treated like professionals where they're not professionals yet. I always use the analogy of you can't drink alcohol until you're 21 because your brain is not fully developed. Of course, some people still do it beforehand, but it's a reason why it's at the age of 21, because your brain is not fully developed.
Not gonna know what to do.
You know what I mean? And as players, like a lot of these players getting paid money in college when they're not ready to be professionals, because when you overseas, you get paid, you get fined if you don't show up on time. You being late, you know what I mean? If you don't perform, you know what I mean? You can lose your job right away. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a lot of stuff overseas where you got to be a grown man about it. You're away from your family. You know what I mean? Like, your family depending on you. You playing for your job every year. These kids getting money, they feel entitled, and they not living up to the money that they're getting paid. You know what I mean? And it's just like, they not handling the situation, still showing up late. I still gotta hold your hand and do your homework and stuff like that. So like, for me, like, it has to be, if we gonna do that, it has to be more professional. So if you show up late, I can find you. If you don't perform well, I can find you. I can take money away. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just like, or if you don't perform well, then some of that money comes back. Like, you gotta have a certain production to be worth this, you know what I mean? Contract to contract, or if you leave to go to another school, the small schools like gotta be buyouts, because that's how it is overseas professionally. Like, you can't just leave a club. So now, it kills schools like that at our level, because we poured into this kid that wasn't recruited out of high school, poured into him for a year or two. Now he finally get to the level where he's able to help our program, which is upperclassmen, juniors and seniors.
Yeah.
Now he's leaving, going to another program. Now we don't got the player, or we don't get nothing that's benefits the program. But he got everything. Like
he did.
He done had chances to make shots to win the games, but then come up, you know what I mean, turning the ball over in crunch moments. So now what he done learned from it, which, you know, every player gets better year to year, when he's naturally going to perform better as a junior or senior. Now he's going somewhere else. So now it's like we're not getting nothing. So at least where if it's a buyout, you know what I mean, like if a school want to get this player, okay, throw us a certain amount of money. So now smaller programs, like at least we ain't getting that production on the court. We got money where we can invest in the program, or we can go, you know, get into the portal and pay some players as well and be able to compete on that level. So it's just like they got to have some type of regulations, man. And that's the hardest part, because like you losing kids where you going through the bumps and bruises they first couple of years. Now they leaving you, you know, as soon as they get good enough to help you out. You
that's
know what
terrible,
I mean? So
man.
it's tough, but I'm all for players getting paid. But if it's gonna be professional, it has to be 100%
all the way through, and not just in one sense.
Exactly.
So, man, that you've given us a great overview today, and I really appreciate you coming out today. Is there anything you want to leave the audience with? I guess.
Man, it's just all love, man. You know what I mean? Hopefully, I can spread a little light, you know, on who Alonzo Coleman is. You know what I mean? Just somebody that's a humble servant, believing in Jesus Christ. You know, just gonna always move out of love, man. And you know, shout out to the city. You know what I mean, for always holding down, you know, a Charlotte kid, man, and you know, just helping me chase my dreams and supporting me along my journey, man. So, you know, prayerfully, I can be a blessing to as many people as you guys have been a blessing for me. And, you know, as far as the pro-am, man, you know, it's always bigger than one person. When God gave me the vision for the Queen City Pro-Am, it was never about Alonzo Coleman. It was always about the city of Charlotte. You know, I always knew that the Queen City Pro-Am was going to, you know, prayerfully be here years down the line, you know what I mean, far past, you know, whenever Alonzo Coleman, you know, steps away. So it's just one of those things where prayerfully, you know what I mean, we got the Pro-Am to that point where when you hear the Queen City Pro-Am, you don't think about Alonzo Coleman. You think about the city of Charlotte, man, and that was always the goal. So for me, man, it's just gonna keep grinding, gonna keep moving out of love. You know what I mean? I know God got us, man. It's been a blessing so far, and I'm excited to see the hoops of Charlotte continue to grow, man.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. I appreciate you again.
Yes, sir, most definitely, man. I already appreciate
Happy birthday to you as well, man.